Welcome to monetizing your content as an influencer. Something that really surprised me because I'm actually not an influencer myself, yet I'm a UGC creator making more than some influencers, is the fact that a lot of my friends who have large audiences, 50,000, 100,000, some up to 1 million, struggle to monetize their content. Amazing creators with real audience, real engagement, and good engagement as well, and a really good following, like cult following, some of them, but they were still struggling with how to actually monetize that audience. And I honestly didn't realize there was such a gap before speaking to my friends about this who were influencers. I always assumed that when I saw these big accounts, these influencers just naturally were making money off their content. They built something amazing and they had the trust factor, but they just didn't know the systems and how to actually pitch to brands and speak to brands and negotiate to actually build it and turn it into a business. They loved creating the content and they were really good at that, but they didn't know how to actually monetize with systems as a business. So I started paying attention and asking the questions as to what was keeping them stuck and why they were struggling so much to monetize their already great content. Because honestly, a lot of influencers are way better at content than me, and they definitely should be getting paid for it. And I wanted to find a gap as to how I could help my friends actually get paid for the great content, because I could see them getting frustrated. And they're like, how are you signing these deals? They're so confident. You know your worth, you're really good at negotiating. And I didn't realize that influencers actually struggle with this. Like I said, it actually came down to systems, but the other thing that it comes down to is also mindset and knowing your worth. And today I want to talk about both and how you can improve them. Get that in, because this video is going to be for you if you feel like this. I want to give you a bit of context and background. I have come from a real estate background. I've come from a sales and retail. So I know pricing, I know negotiation. I also come from tech, so systems, processes. So when I started to build my content career, those skills were always something that I had been building and learning and compounding on across my career. So for me, the content creation part was the new part. And obviously learning how to negotiate and my worth as a content creator. But what was already ingrained in me was the negotiations and the systems side. So all I had to do was flip it and learn the negotiation language of content creator and brand partnerships. This is where I see most people who are creator first. Is one of the hard parts of content creation is actually the systems and the process side. And if you don't have that set up well, then you are going to struggle to make money. And that's where I see a lot of my influencer friends actually struggle, because they don't know how to negotiate, they don't know how to price their worth, and they end up taking deals that just aren't for them. One of my friends came to me and sent me a contract that they'd been sent, and they had nearly 1 million followers. This brand was only offering them $1,000 for 4 videos. Now, somebody with the reach like his, the audience like his, he could be getting at least $1,000 per video, not for 4 videos. I've taught both ends of the scale. I've taught people who have 50,000, 100,000 followers, and I've also taught people with no followers and starting from scratch. And a lot of my students who are starting from scratch actually put the time into the system side of things, and they actually end up earning more than a lot of influencers I know. So I want to bridge that gap and help the influencers who are already making really good content like you actually monetize your work. I always say anything that you do in life is 80% mindset, 20% the action. I want to start on the mindset side of things and what might be blocking you. The practical side of things doesn't work if your mindset has a block, if your mindset isn't right, and if you come from a lack mindset. You can prepare as much as you want, but actually taking the action is where you're going to see the results. And mindset is the biggest thing that blocks you from actually doing the scary part, because you don't want to feel the rejection. You don't want to have to negotiate. I was there, I get it. I used to do that as well. Leaning into having those scary conversations so that you have the exposure therapy and you're learning how to actually position yourself as the authority with value. Mindset block number 1 is I don't want to seem too difficult. The creators who get paid do not care. They know their worth. Everyone that I've ever coached has had this mindset block. And removing it means understanding that people will pay you because this is work, this is a job. Just because you enjoy it doesn't mean it's not valuable. Asking for your rate isn't demanding, it's not arrogant, and it doesn't mean that you're hard to work with. Brands negotiate with you too. Everybody's trying to get the best deal. And here's something that I actually want you to do is actually pitch 20% higher than the rate that you'd be willing to take. It leaves a room for wiggle room, and it is going to feel uncomfortable at first. But like I said, exposure therapy is to get over that feeling. Every brand has a budget range And just like you doing the 20% above what you're willing to take, they're going to be offering lower than what they're willing to pay. So that's when negotiations come into play. When they say this is above our budget, they're not saying no, they're opening that world up for negotiation. And this is your chance to position why you are worth that rate and start the negotiation. When you understand what your rates are and why you charge what you charge, opening up that negotiation becomes a hell of a lot easier. And when you see that email from the brand saying this is above our rate, it becomes a lot easier for you to open the negotiation of saying this is my rate, this is why my rate is what it is, but if your budget is X, I can provide this instead. You're not being difficult by asking your rates and negotiating a rate that aligns with both you and the brand. This is your business just as much as that's their business as well. You are also a small business owner. Mindset block 2 is what if they go with someone else? They can go with somebody else, that's fine. There are brands out there going to pay your rate. If this brand says no, then they're not aligned with you and on to the next. This mindset is a scarcity one, and it's really dangerous because if we get stuck here, we lower our self-worth and we start to tell ourselves that our work isn't worth getting paid. I really want you to hear this. If they keep arguing a low rate and they are not nice to negotiate with, leave them there. Say thank you for your time. I wish you all the best, but I don't think this partnership is aligning for me. It needs to align with you as much as it needs to align with them as well. Little secret is that they were probably never going to be a good client anyway if they were treating you like that. Trust me, I know. Brands who push the hardest on price and don't understand your worth from the start are always the hardest ones to work with. We want to align brands who understand what value our videos can bring to their brand. At the end of the day, they're an asset. And the biggest thing is too, the right clients see your value, they come back, they refer people, so they become a reoccurring asset. The shitty clients aren't going to do that. So putting the time into these better clients is going to be more beneficial for you because it's going to mean less outreach in the future. And maybe they become a retainer client. When I started saying no to brands I didn't align with, that's actually when my income increased in my business and I stopped feeling stressed out because I started then calling in and having the time to call in brands that were actually aligned with me rather than just saying yes just to get them through the door. Mindset block number 3, which really surprised me from a lot of influencers that I had spoken to who had amazing results, is that they thought that they didn't have good enough results to be able to charge the rates that they wanted to charge, which was absolute BS, by the way. Don't say, I'll charge properly when I have this, or I'll charge more when I have these results. All you're doing is moving the post because you're scared to actually ask for those rates. That's the real issue. You feel like you're not good enough to ask for these rates, so you just keep moving the goalposts instead. Brands don't just buy reach, so it's not about the biggest number of views and the biggest number of followers. It's about the actual engagement, the trust that your audience has in you. Buy content that aligns with their brand and creators that align with their brand that is social proof for them. Most of the results that you have now are enough to charge the rates that you want to charge. You just need to start asking. This leads me to the 2 tools that have really helped me with pitching and making that faster and also positioning my value with brands. And the first one is my rate card. For any brand conversation, you need to know your rates. You need to know exactly what you're going to be charging, your packages. And if somebody comes back to you negotiating, you need to know what your lowest rate would be that you would charge for a video or a couple of videos. This is inbound or outbound. So as soon as you want to start monetizing, this is the first thing that you need to create. Your rate card will have a UGC rate because even as an influencer, you will do UGC videos that aren't posted to your page. You don't want to be flooding your audience with all brand partnerships. Is a good idea to do UGC. So basically they will post it to their own page, their own channels. Maybe they'll run a paid ads through it and it won't be posted to your page. So your UGC rate is going to differ from your influencer rate and it will generally be less because obviously with your influencer rate, it's going to be leveraging your audience, which is dependent on your size and engagement. So you need both your influencer rate and your UGC rate on your rates card. You need your usage fee rights. So this is going to be whether they do want to run it as a paid ad and for how many months. Usually I do 30% of the base rate of the video per month that the ad is running. And with whitelistings, because this ad is being run as through your account, so it shows your handle, if you have a large following and they're leveraging your status, then obviously you'll be able to charge higher for that. Also have things like your add-ons for raw footage, additional hooks, additional videos, packages, ad tester packages, extra revision, the list goes on. Here's what mine looks like, and I do also have this available either within my community if you have a subscription to my community, or on the link below. And having this alone is going to really help you with understanding where your negotiations start, and it makes negotiations a hell of a lot easier when you understand your baseline rates. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be negotiating your worth, you're negotiating your scope of work. If you feel like a brand is negotiating your worth and you're trying to convince them as to why they should buy a video from you, then they're probably not the right brand to work with. The second thing that saved me so much time was my results card. So content that I had made for brands and were posted on Instagram, as well as my analytics, because so many times when a brand wanted me to post through my page or wanted my results on previous videos, I was spending ages compiling links, screenshots, going through my camera roll, or sending them a really clunky drive link that they had to flick through. And it just was not a nice experience. I'd see the difference in conversion when I created my influencer rates card. So this could be for if they do want an influencer collaboration, or it could also just be for social proof on how your videos perform as well. But when I tell you, this changed so much for me, saved me so much time. I can also just put the link natively into my emails if I want to as well. It's definitely something that I would say that doesn't actually take a lot of time to do in the large scheme of things to start off with, but it saves you so much time with having to scroll through your camera roll, scroll through different links in the future. I have a link to that as well, available for download below. And if you're in my community with the Unconventional Creator House membership, it's also available in there as well. I use Notion for mine, and I do suggest to use some sort of a system, whether it's Notion or another system. The template is actually Notion. I'm able to put the links in there. I'm able to also embed the videos in there from Instagram and TikTok, and also put the screenshots of my analytics in the document itself, and it's easily editable. I honestly love Notion, and I think that Notion is a really good tool to be able to use as a system for everything within my business, as a CRM and a workflow system, as well as housing front-facing things for brands and clients. Notice as well, I also have categorized each one into the niche and topic that I have worked with, as well as my TikTok analytics and my Instagram analytics too. This means when somebody asks me for my past analytics and results, I just need to grab this link now. I don't need to go anywhere else. I don't need to scroll through Instagram, finding the same links, sending multiple times, and it's just so much quicker and easier. And the thing about social proof is not enough people leverage it. And people always think that they need massive numbers for it to actually mean something. And the biggest thing is just showing that you've got the results coming through and the engagement on the pieces of content that you're creating. Your results are leveraged, so I want you to start using them. When a brand reaches out to you, you have the power. They have come to you, they like your content, they've been watching you, they've reached out to you, they've made the jump. This is you and your power, this is your leverage. They decided that they want to work with you. I have seen replies from creators saying, thanks so much, this is my rate. That's definitely not how we want to respond to these brands. The biggest thing is building your authority with them and building the rapport. That's something that I have definitely learned from my corporate days, is building the rapport with the client from the get-go and showing your authority as well. So I want you to think about asking questions like, what's the goal of your campaign? How many videos do you want? Is there going to be ad usage? Do you have any references or a brief that I can look at? And what's the timeline for this campaign and delivery? When they come back to you with this information, you present a solution, not your rates, a solution to what they want to achieve for this piece of content. I usually like to come back to them with a few little ideas as well, and it's not the whole concept, it's just a couple of quick ideas that might have come to mind, or I might have quickly researched. That extra couple of seconds makes the world of difference, and definitely has been a comment that brands have said to me. It's taken me a little bit extra time, but it's made a huge difference in the way that they perceive me as a creator, and they can see my authority. Two platforms other than the social media platforms that are worth noting for outreach is on Bento, which is a creator marketplace that has the emails that you can outreach to, and also has like a VA function as well, which is amazing, that will send the emails out for you. And hot tip there is make sure that you have specific templates for specific niches. Always do more than one follow-up. Second one is Roster, which is very similar to Bento, but it is a lot newer, so it's not as robust. It doesn't have as many emails on there. However, there is a quick apply feature. We're actually actively looking for creators. They have a VA function as well. I just find that it's not as robust as Bento. So if you're looking to invest in just one. I would say Bento over Roster. However, both are good if you are able to invest in both, because Roster does have some additional features that Bento doesn't have, and obviously vice versa. I also have some templates which are linked below as well if you're thinking, where the hell do I start with actually writing these email pitches, negotiating. I have all those resources for you if you feel like you need them, which will save you a hell of a lot of time. It has taken me 18 months to compile all of these in one spot and perfect these. Whether you're responding to inbound or outbound, the rules are always the same. Always lead with authority and value. Get your results ready and make sure you're asking questions so you understand exactly what the brand needs. I want to leave you with a couple of negotiation tips. So I'm going to pop them up on screen and feel free to screenshot them or save this video and come back for later. If they say that they only offer gifted, say this. If they say that is above our budget, say this. If they ask for additional usage rights, say this. And if they tell you, I got a quote from another creator that was cheaper, say this. Words that I want you to stop using and words that you should be using instead. I hope this has helped you. I started noticing this because I was living it day to day. I was surrounding myself with a lot of creators and influencers, and I was seeing this gap between people who were making money and people who were struggling to monetize. And it really made me sad that my influencer friends were making amazing content and not getting money for it, or not getting what they were valued. And they were watching me being like, how are you signing these deals when I can't get these? And I was like, I got you. We're gonna get you these deals because you deserve to be paid what you're worth for your content. This is a job at the end of the day, and it is an asset to every brand that you create for. But it is about knowing your systems and having the mindset that you are worth being paid for those videos. I have the full negotiation template bundle, which is over 15 templates linked below. So if you feel like this is something that you need help with, then that's available for you. It's got every scenario that we included today. So negotiation of your rates, usage rights, all of that is all within that bundle. If you want to go deeper on the strategy, pitch systems, how to outreach, CRMs, templates, managing clients, and support with your brand deals and coaching, that's all inside Unconventional Creator Community, which I will also pop a link to below as well. If this video was useful for you, then save it. If you feel like it's going to be useful for a friend, then I'd be so grateful if you share it with them. Pop your comments below on anything that you feel like you're struggling with now so I can help answer these questions in my following videos. See you in the next one.